Were you there?
No, I was living in Louisville, Kentucky. 23 years old, working for Sears and Roebuck, married, had a two-year-old son. Fairly conservative young man at the time, you know, raised in a conservative family. And we were watching it on TV, and I just could not believe what I was seeing, that my contemporaries were being beaten, arrested, and tear gassed for exercising their right of free speech and assembly.
Boy, that's going on now, isn't it? Overseas, huh?
Yes, yeah. And from that moment, that was one of the most defining moments of my life. That my whole political views, my life changed from that day that I saw it.
What'd you do about it?
I started taking part in demonstrations, becoming an activist, spreading the word, trying to live a more peaceful life myself and help others try to. Was arrested several times during the 60s and early 70s for protesting the Vietnam War, and unfortunately I was here in Chicago back when it happened again, when we first went into Iraq.
2003.
Yeah, 2003. I thought
my guys were arrested too.
Here we go again. I thought all this was over, but it seems to be ongoing for some reason.
Yeah. You were at the 2003 demonstrations.
Yes, I was.
What happened to you?
I had protested the Vietnam War back in the 60s and 70s, had thought that those days were behind me, had hoped that those days were behind me, and all of a sudden, boom, here we go again. So I was part of the demonstration that marched downtown. We were at the corner of Chicago and Michigan Avenue, and the police completely surrounded us. They brought their buses in to seal off Michigan Avenue. They had police in riot gear completely surround us, and when the leaders of the demonstration asked that we be allowed to leave, we were refused that permission. We were told we had to stay, and then they systematically started picking people out of the crowd to arrest them without giving people the chance to leave on their own accord.
Was that in the freedom of speech zones that they were forcing you to stay in there? Or
no, they had us actually trapped right there on Chicago.
Oh.
There was no way for us to get out. There were innocent people coming out of apartment buildings who were caught up in it. There were parents with children who wanted to leave, and we were not allowed to. We weren't allowed to disassemble freely, which we wanted to do with no problems, no hassles, just let us go home, we've had our say, and they wouldn't let us, and then they started arresting people.
Including you?
Including me.
Okay, and how'd you do? What'd you end up happening?
It was not my first
okay.
my first time. So.
Okay, very good. So you have the credentials.
I do, yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much for your time.
Sure thing.
Very nice.